My name is Denis Tukahikaho, PhD. I'm an environmentalist and a climate finance expert in Uganda and beyond. And I'm so passionate to create awareness in many followers on how we can protect our environment. Climate financing is not a new context. But it is about mobilizing resources, cash flows from external and internal sources to support climate protection initiatives or approaches in the area of mitigation, adaptation, and cross-cutting issues. Uganda as a country, we have an obligation, internal and international obligation, to mobilize funds and support climate finance initiatives. To bring it from an international context to a local context, each country has an obligation how much to contribute in terms of climate financing. Basically, Uganda has been receiving much of its funding from external sources. That is through donations and other multinational organizations and partnerships. And only 15% is mobilized locally. That's where the challenge comes from. Because when you look at the recent developments in the geopolitics globally, the countries that have been sending us money, or donors, these are high developed economies, are cutting their donations, are cutting their spending on our demands. This was evidenced during the COP19 conference in Abidjan, where developing countries, especially from Africa and Asia, were demanding 1.3 trillion US dollars in terms of the cash flow. But only the developed economies or developed countries committed 300 billion, which means there is a drastic cut in terms of cash flow today and in the future. And as a country, we have to reshape ourselves. We have to mobilize locally. We have to enter into the CFPPP to make sure our national determined contribution is enough to cater for activities. Uganda has been considered as a low emission country, 1950 to 2023, 2024. But because of the discovery and commercialization of oil and gas, we have the pipeline, for example, from the oil region up the coast, that will be heated at 50 at 50 degrees Celsius, from 50 to 80 degrees Celsius. It is going to increase our emission in the next 5 years, higher than what we have emitted since 1975. What does it call? What does it mean for Uganda? It means Uganda as a country, we are now a suspect emission. When we talk of the charcoal deforestation, we still have a big challenge, because there was an executive order by the president of Uganda to ban transport and sale of charcoal, specifically from northern Uganda, which has not been effective. One, people don't have alternative cooking technologies or cooking energy. 70% of the people, 60 to 70 in homestead in Kampala, depend on charcoal. Ministers depend on use charcoal. MPs, you see here in the parliament, use charcoal in their homes. The people who are doing enforcement on the presidential directive are using charcoal, which means it will be very costly for us to enforce this directive. We need to look at alternative sources of energy in terms of cooking. We talk of clean cooking technology, such that we reduce appetite for charcoal. But once these alternatives are not there, and the demand for charcoal is still growing, then the directive cannot work. When you go to communities where the charcoal is being burnt and transported, it is the only source of income for these people. charcoal burning is the only source of what? Of income. So government and local governments, when I talk of government in general and local government, I talk of districts and other government units, they should look into helping the communities to have alternative sources of income, such that they abandon charcoal as a main business for their survival.